You have recently been discussing a lot about the history of the occupation of Palestine. I will call it that. I know you will oppose that, but I will call it that. The occupation of Palestine.
The whole thing, right? Just to be clear?
The entirety of Palestine.
Thank you.
You may accuse me of genocide if you wish. That is not my position.
Sure. And I will, but go ahead.
Anyway, so the point about the occupation of Palestine, you have released multiple videos. You have essentially made yourself the cheerleader of Israel in a lot of sort of Western media spaces. So I watched some of your videos about the conflict, and I found a number of inaccuracies. First of all, you describe in 1920, you refer to Jordan as part of Palestine historically. That has never been the case. There has never been a state of Jordan.
British Mandate Palestine, yes.
That is still not the case. Jordan has never been part or considered part of Palestine. The only time that Jordan has been considered adjacent to Palestine is part of sort of biblical mythology where Transjordan was a reason.
That's wildly inaccurate. The British Mandate had a mandate over all of Palestine, and then they separated off Transjordan and handed it to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan.
You will get your chance to reply. Let me finish. Now, the second point that you have phrased constantly and consistently, and it's quite a popular Zionist talking point, is the fact that the Arabs have rejected peace every time it was offered to them. Now, I would like, of course, there's been multiple times where peace has been offered, so let's discuss some of them. The Peel Commission. The Peel Commission entailed expelling multiple Arab families and multiple Arab communities, largely agrarian, from the land in order to create a Jewish state under a colonial authority. Now, I understand, of course, you are a Zionist, so you believe that's desirable. But for the Palestinian farmers, I can imagine they would not have enjoyed that. Number two, you mention that that after 1948, the Arabs had the chance to negotiate and make peace with Israel. Apart from the fact that in 1956, Israel invaded the Sinai in Egypt, unprovoked, purely due to the fact that President Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal. Then you claim that the 1967 war was a war of extermination. But if you will read any trusted and respected historian over the 1967 war, and perhaps you may even decide to read some of the books of Moshe Dayan about the actual conflict, where he describes that Israel actually provoked the conflict and there was no chance of the extermination of Israel. Then you claimed that the 1973 war was a war of the destruction of Israel once again, which it was not. It was actually the reclaiming of the Sinai and the Golan Heights, which Israel has illegally occupied. So, you have lied multiple times. I can continue if you would wish, but I would like to ask you the question. When you lie, do you feel shame?
Okay, so. In order for me to feel shame, I would have to be lying, as opposed to you just being wrong about all of these things, which you are. So, let me start from the very beginning of what you said. Let's try to go through the calendar. British Mandate Palestine was ruled by the British. They carved off Transjordan in 1920, and Transjordan was made into Transjordan with the Hashemite Kingdom, which, by the way, is not domestic to the actual Arab Jordan. So if you're talking about a colonial outpost, Jordan would be it, since the Hashemite Kingdom has nothing to do with the actual Palestinian Arabs who are living in Transjordan. Talking about the Peel Commission. If the idea is that there would have to be a separation of populations in order to effectuate a two-state solution, which you deny, then I was right. Of course, there was a deal on the table. The Jews accepted it. The Arabs rejected it. So you did not actually undermine my case. There should be no deal in the first place.
In his diary states.
Hold on. I listened to your whole bullshit history for like 5 minutes here, so at least let me respond to it. Your entire claim is that the Arabs did not reject peace, and then in your own disquisition, you admitted that the Arabs rejected the Peel Commission plan, which was a separation between the Jews and the Arabs, which gave an extraordinary amount of land to the Arabs. The Arabs then rejected the peace partition plan proposed by the United Nations in 1947. They then proceeded to reject the Oslo Accords in 93. After that, they rejected the Wye River Accords in 98. They rejected Ehud Barak's very generous offer in 2000. They rejected Olmert's very generous offer in 2008. Every single peace deal that has been proposed by Israel or anyone else has been rejected by the Arabs for a very simple reason, which was the very first question I asked you. You do not accept that there should be a Jewish state anywhere in this region. So as long as that's the case, there's literally nothing to argue about. You cannot simultaneously maintain the position there should not be a Jewish state anywhere in the region and then tell me that I'm wrong when I say that the Arabs will not accept a two-state solution. You yourself say that there should not be a two-state solution.
So the first point I'll firstly address the last point that you made about the Palestine and whether there should be a Jewish state. The point you are making there is you're suggesting that the Arabs will not accept a Jewish state. Well, the reason that the Arabs would not accept the Jewish state is multifaceted.
It's complex.
Let me finish. So, the reason that it's multifaceted is due to a variety of dynamics. The Zionist movement arrived as a settler colonial project, and it is described as that. You can read the books of Jablonski. You can read Zionist literature from the early 20th century. It states that it was a colonial project. Now let's address the lies that you mentioned. Let's address the refutation that you made. In 1937, the Peel Commission, if you read the diaries of David Ben-Gurion, he explicitly states that the partition was a temporary move to ensure the conquest of the full land. In 1948, there had already been an intercommunal civil war in Palestine, which had seen Jewish defense forces versus the Arab forces. There was already a conflict that preceded 1948. To claim that the Arabs simply rejected the UN partition plan is once again ahistorical. You then make
They literally rejected it. How could it be ahistorical if they literally rejected it?
If there was a war beforehand,
once again, you just reject fundamentally the existence of the state of Israel, period. So how can...
I attempted to interrupt you, I was told to silence. So I would ask you again, please shut up. My point now, I would like to continue, and you then mention what was the peace plan you mentioned after?
Okay, which one should we do?
We finished 1948. What after?
Okay, so there was the 2000 peace plan from Ehud Barak. There was the 2008 peace plan from Ehud Olmert. There was the pullout of Israel from Gaza Strip in 2005, handing it over to Hamas. One final note, there can be no two-state solution when literally you will not accept the possibility of a two-state solution. That is the end of the story. There is no further discussion.
Well, as for me, right, I like to see people debate. I like to see people put forth their arguments and being able to articulate their points. But I hate to see someone being too rude to another person. I hate to see someone being too ungrateful to another person. I really hate it. Now, I understand where the student is coming from. I understand the points he is trying to make. But the way he is going about it, personally, I think is wrong. Because he feels like in order to pass his point across, he has to be very assertive. And coming back to Ben, I do not believe what Ben says. And like I have told you many times, Ben is someone that, to my own opinion, has been totally blinded or is totally blinded and has refused to entertain any other views on Israel. According to Ben, Israel has done no wrong, Israel did no wrong, and Israel has wanted peace. If you told Ben that actually Israel has tried its best to sabotage most of the peace accord that has been put in place, that the Palestinians are the one who are losing almost everything, and they would be the one to go for peace. Because let's say, for example, right, you are a minority in terms of wealth and power and military, fighting against a major power like Israel, a much stronger force like Israel. You would try your best to want peace as quickly as possible, because as time went by, you are going to lose everything. Look at what is happening in the West Bank. Israel has been encroaching on Palestinian lands. Israel has been building illegal settlements. And no matter what the United Nations and other international bodies have told Israel, Israel has not listened. They have told them, stop the illegal settlement. Israel has not listened. They have told them, stop mistreating or maltreating the Palestinians, Israel has not listened. They've told them, stop the apartheid state. Israel has not listened. And nobody has done Israel anything. Israel is still there doing what they like to do. And people like Ben, who are bent on arguing for Israel, will never ever see a wrong and point it out. Even if you told them about the illegal settlement that their government is building in the West Bank, they will tell you historically those lands belongs to the Jews. If you told them your government is illegally detaining Palestinian civilians or Palestinian people, they will say it's all for peace and security. Someone like Ben will say those people who are being incarcerated need to be incarcerated. If you told Ben that the Israelis' security forces invade people's houses in the night and abuse them, Ben would be like, the police have a legitimate reason for going there, and that they are trying to thwart crimes. Ben would always find an excuse to give you as to why the Israel government or the Israel authority is doing what they are doing. To Ben, it's always justifiable. There is a legitimate reason for doing that. Ben will always have a compelling excuse, whether factual or not, whether morally correct or not, or whether legitimate or not. Ben would always create one to give it to you. He is so blinded by his love for Israel, which I have to say, loving your country is a great thing, but blindly loving the country might be a step too far. Being patriotic is great. Defending your country is excellent. But defending them when they do wrong or blindly supporting them at the detriment of other people is wrong. It's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. And people must understand this. People must know this. A wrong is a wrong. And no matter how Ben goes out there and justifies Israel's bad behavior, Israel's maltreatment of Palestinian people, it doesn't make it right. He might defend it. He might defend all the atrocities that Israel is doing or has been doing and keep on doing. He might defend all those things, but it doesn't make it right. Like I have told you, right? Don't always take my words for it. Just do your own research. Just go online and look at all the filings of international organizations, the UN, the Human Rights Agency, and so on and so forth. Look at what they've documented. Just go on Google and Google the West Bank and see. Just go on YouTube and type Israel's occupation in the West Bank and see. All these things are well documented. You can see for yourself, you can make your own judgment. But you guys out there, what is your take on this debate between Ben and this Oxford student? Share your thoughts and opinion with us in the comment section below. Because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel because that helps us a lot and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.